The commander of 1st Canadian Division, Major General Farron, will now address the parade.
Dragoons, this is going to be the start of a bit of a process, so take a second right now, shake it out, up and down a little bit. It's going to be a bit, that's it. Ah, well done, well done. Senior serving Dragoons, distinguished guests, welcome aboard. Dragoons, what an outstanding day. Clearly a fine day to be a Dragoon. My compliments to you on parade today. And I'd like to thank all of the distinguished guests. I guess I should tone it down and maybe turn that off. I'd like to thank all of our distinguished guests for joining us today for this ceremony. I'd like to take the opportunity, though, to also thank my sincere thanks to General Darrell Dean and Heather for the tremendous support to the regiment over the last 3 years, and outstanding commitment in time and effort. And we very much appreciate that and wish you all the very best in your next endeavor. I'd also like to welcome Colonel George Russo for taking on the mantle of the Colonel of the regiment, and also for his family, Maureen, and the entire crew that's here today. Welcome aboard. And since I will miss the change of the Colonel Commandant, I would just like to personally thank Colonel General Clyde and Marlene for the tremendous support over the last number of years. Thank you very, very much, sir. The CO and the Colonel of the Regiment give me the great pleasure today to introduce the first patron of the Royal Canadian Dragoons. But before I do so, a few very quick words about what it is we are going to expect from him. He's going to work with the CO. He's going to work with the Colonel of the Regiment. He's going to be responsive to the Guild. Essentially, we wanted to connect with influential Canadians. He's going to serve this regiment well. He's going to use this regiment's strategy, the Guild's strategy, and the thrust lines first and foremost are to improve the quality of life of those Dragoons that are on parade with us here today. He's also going to support the families of our fallen. A significant task, an honorable duty indeed. He's going to promote the history and the heritage of the Royal Canadian Dragoons, and essentially he's promoting regimental unity, keeping us together as a family. Honorable endeavors, all of which, in my view, will greatly contribute to the operational readiness of this regiment of ours, the Royal Canadian Dragoons. It's my privilege to introduce the first patron, Mr. David Batten. David and I first worked together in Cyprus many years ago in '89 when he was a combat photographer. But he just didn't work for one or two. At that point in time, he worked for the adjutant of the regiment, General Walton Tinpak. He worked for the operations officer of this fine regiment, yours truly. Every once in a while, the 2IC headquarters squadron kicked his butt. Major General Mike Ward. Let's not forget his commanding officer that took a turn out, Colonel Mike Appleton. And every once in a while, the commander of the United Nations forces in Cyprus reached down, General Clive Miller, to take his pound of flesh. So he's no stranger to us at all. David's worked well with not just the regiment, but also with the Canadian forces. He's done some time working with public affairs. He's documented the Canadian war effort in the former Yugoslavia. He's produced a highly acclaimed documentary for the Queen's York Rangers, and he's traveled back to Bosnia with Plains magazine to record the progress made in that war-torn nation. His support to this regiment has been selfless, but David will be the first to admit it's been the result of a team effort of everybody here today. He's personally supported our Lily Fontaine bursaries, the 100-man Guard of Honor so well represented today with the Scarlets on parade, the historical vehicles in Dragoon Park, and most recently the effort to harvest a new springbuck for the regimental headquarters, serving the regimental family. In his civilian capacity, David is a very highly successful commercial photographer. Appropriate, since we want you to influence those Canadians. But in my view, David's greatest trait is his loyalty and his dedication. His loyalty and dedicated to the profession of arms, to his regiment, the Royal Canadian Dragoons, and to his family, his wife Heather, his son Liam, and his daughter Norwood. David, thank you very much for that. So David, on behalf of all the members of the Royal Canadian Dragoons, I'd like to welcome you and congratulate you as being the first patron of this regiment, and I commend you to the challenge of keeping the well-being of our soldiers foremost in the hearts and minds of those citizens of this great nation that we serve, this nation we call Canada. David, congratulations. Welcome to the first patron.
I am very honored to stand before all of you today and undertake the formalization of this new regimental role, honorary patron of the regiment. 8 years ago, I was in Bosnia visiting the regiment when General Dean Milner was then commanding officer. Dennis Lebec was the RSM, and Dennis and I served many years ago together in one troop, Refugee Squadron. At the time, Dennis and I spoke about how we might help the regiment in regards to supporting the Guild. As you know, the Guild does a huge amount of work for the regiment and its extended families, providing most needed goods and services that are outside CF funding with taxpayers' money. Over the past 8 years, I have worked very closely with members of the regiment. So nice to see so many of you here today. We have accomplished so much in this time frame. The ceremonial uniform project in 2008 for the 125th anniversary, ongoing fundraising for the trust fund, moving our goal closer to the $3 million mark, captains of industry visits to introduce Canadians to our fine regiment, the Teddy Bear Project, and bursary programs to help serving families send their child to university. Support for the South Africa trip to harvest a new regimental mascot and introduce the soldiers on that trip to the history of the Battle of Lily-Fontaine. And many, many more that I'm sure you are all aware of. I have never forgotten how important the Dragoons have been to building my career. I served with the regiment from 1987 until 1989 as a proud trooper. I had the time of my life. I left the military to go to university and to build my own future. And this is why I felt it was so important to give my time to this family, the Dragoons, our regiment. All of you are special, very special, because the military training cannot be purchased as a civilian vacation package. You can't go to the most learned schools and universities and receive this experience. Simply put, you have something unique that no one can ever take away. If I can impart any knowledge on the younger folk standing before me who may not be on their initial 3-year contract, don't waste your time. Relish it. I did a hell of a lot in 3 years. I mean a hell of a lot. In the beginning, I had no idea how impactful this commitment to serve my country would be to my later development. To put it simply, as a young trooper, I became aware of self, who I was, am, and could become. This is very powerful. At times we lack confidence, we're filled with self-doubt, we're taken over by fear, and so on. We're taught with the use of military training and discipline to recognize, manage, and control these emotions. Build on this training to become a better person, soldier, Canadian. Unlike some civilian jobs, this community is full of accessible knowledge, training, wisdom, and it mentors its younger folk gladly. In closing, I want to leave you with this thought. With all of you who someday, if not now, and already doing, think about how you can give back. The Guild is one great example. It's a big commitment to give your time. I have learned this well from the fine soldiers of this proud regiment. We all need to support each other in this tight-knit community of Dragoons to keep the
Mr. Batten as the Colonel of the Regiment, Brigadier General Dean, and the Commander of 1st Canadian Division, Major General Farron. The signing will be witnessed by the Commanding Officer and Regimental Sergeant Major.